This is just a total clown car. It is a total mess. There is no clear front runner at this particular point. It has been a long time. This is very unusual for the Democratic side to not have a clear front runner at this point.
The next national election is for Republicans to lose. I could run against any one of those people and beat them. I'm not going to run for president. I guarantee you. To start this off, we're going to show a clip from our favorite member of legacy media. I don't even count him amongst them. I would hire him in a heartbeat when CNN folds, obviously, Harry Enten. But I want to use this as a springboard to discuss or speak directly to the quote-unquote black pillars is the term. And really, they just used to be referred to as negative Nancys. Let me ask you, how would you rate this presidency thus far? Okay, that's the first question. And I think anywhere from a D+ to a B+ can be argued, can be reasonable, to be clear. I certainly can understand some disappointments. But are you anything other than grateful compared to the alternative? Because there are people out there right now saying, stay home, don't vote in the midterms. It's a uniparty. There is no difference. And it is worrisome that it seems to be working on a few of the weak-minded. But here's the thing. It's predicated on this idea that Democrats are gaining momentum, that they're doing really well, and that they're becoming popular, and they are going to become the populists. That objectively couldn't be further from the truth. Just take it from Harry Enten with What a Shocker.
Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. This shutdown hasn't eaten into Donald Trump's support at all. Look at where we are now. It's a complete flip. Top choices for the 2028 Dem-Pres nominee. You have a leader, but it's not really a clear leader. It's within the margin of error. You have Newsom at 19%. Then you have former Vice President Kamala Harris at 18%. Quite a weak number for her, given that, of course, she was the nominee last time around. Pete Buttigieg, who, of course, has run before, 13%. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez at 12%. This is just a total clown car. It is a total mess. There is no clear front runner at this particular point. It has been a long time. This is very unusual for the Democratic side to not have a clear front runner at this point. National early poll leader at least 25%. Look at this. This year, we get the giant question mark. No one. You have to go all the way back from when I wasn't even in elementary school yet, not even in pre-K yet, to 1992. That was the last cycle in which there was no clear front runner at this point.
And by the way, he remembers what it was like when he was a kid. He was the same guy.
Look at this.
Yeah. Back then, he was exhausting him back then. Here's the thing, too. Can you bring up just freeze frame, just those front runners right now?
Yeah.
So I want you to look at this for a second. Look at this.
Look at this. There it is.
Look at this.
Okay. Newsom, Harris, Buttigieg, AOC. Think about when people say, oh, everyone's gone far right and far left. No, the right has gone somewhat left, and the left has gone hard left. Do you realize that none of those people who are most likely right now, as of this time, to be the Democrat nominee, not one could give you any limits on abortion. Not one, if asked, could tell you 8-month cutoff, 9-month cutoff, 7-month cutoff. Not one, third trimester, not one. Not one could give you any limit as to how many immigrants we should let into this country. Not one of them has championed any platform other than catch and release, revolving door for crime. Not one of them believes in work requirements, in identification, for Social Security, for welfare. Every single one supported DEI. Every single one has supported super strict gun regulations. Every single one at one point or another has supported censorship, has been on the side of it. Every single one, by the way, supports transitioning minors and drag queen story hour. Every single one of them. And I will tell you this is the next national election is for Republicans to lose. I could run against any one of those people and beat them. I'm not going to run for president. I guarantee you. You could ask me any candidate, Gavin Newsom, it's the easiest one in the world. You just run on a perpetual loop, the flip-flop. The flip-flop on everything. I'm just like you. I can't read speeches. I'm illiterate. Then you show the clip of him saying, yeah, I read your whole book in 3 hours. That's a 10-hour audio book. Him going, I never supported trans people in women's sports. Then you show the clip where he did, and he supported transitioning minors. You show the clip of him saying, I'm a gun guy. I have a SIG. And then you show all of his gun control legislation. Like, you just show all the flip-flops, and whoever stands across from him on that stage, well, who am I debating? Which Gavin Newsom? And present to him all of his inconsistencies. Take your pick. Kamala Harris, you just point out that she's a drunk and she's an idiot. AOC, well, hold on a second. Oh, you're honest? What about the pipe bomb? I'd show the fake handcuffs. Show her incredibly expensive apartment and her nice new electric car while she talks about being a socialist. All of these people are extremely vulnerable. They have no bench.
Yeah.
To be clear, the only moderate Democrat that actually exists, and he's not that moderate, seems to be John Fetterman. And the litmus test, he had to pull a shotgun on a black jogger.
I wish we had video.
To be fair, he was living in a rough neighborhood at the time.
Fire! Bad!
Well,
that's tough.
I understand.
Well, he has a suit on there, too.
Yeah,
That's
I
weird.
get it. That is
free
weird.
stroke.
It's weird.
Well, he didn't dress himself. The doctor did.
Yeah, that's right.
And I say that to transition into these black pillars out there. Something, Trump has done absolutely nothing. What? They deserve to lose. Okay. Here's the thing. That's just not in tune with not only Trump voters, but even those who are more in the center. People do like President Trump's vision, even if he hasn't delivered on all of it. CNN had to admit it after the State of the Union with this even fatter Josh Gad.
Among speech watchers tonight, 64% say his policies will move the U.S. in the right direction. And look at the growth President Trump made over the speech. So pre-speech, it was 54% of speech watchers said his policies will move the U.S. in the right direction. After the speech, that number goes up 10 percentage points. So Donald Trump made some progress with people watching the speech from their pre-speech expectations to what they saw in the speech itself. And that 64% number, that's pretty much in range across all of his State of the Union addresses. In his first term, last year, the joint session, that's about what we've seen is roughly 2/3 have walked away from his speeches thinking he's going to move it in the right direction.
But that's not what they were saying. That was not what they were saying about the speech or the direction of the country or what Donald Trump was going to be able to convince people of. The 54% number prior, 64 after is massive news.
Right.
He killed it.
So I'm just distracted because the bookworm is on CNN.
Oh, yeah. How do you get away from that?
Oh, my God. Hide your apples.
And then this brings us to, so now we know, okay. All right, the left, they're extremely unpopular. And actually, you know what? Let's just show a clip because let's say it's a head-to-head with Vance or Rubio versus Gavin Newsom. Oh, good. I always like more Enten. Here's Enten pointing out that Newsom's popularity is not doing that well.
It seems to me that Gavin Newsom is flailing a little bit, at least compared to where he was prior. Because just take a look here. Okay, Chance Newsom is the 2028 Democratic nominee. 3 months ago, according to the cash prediction market, look at that. It was a 37% chance. Now, it's just a 28%. Down he goes. He's definitely flailing a little bit. And I will note, John, that it also seems to me people are a little less interested in Gavin Newsom than they used to be. Look at this. Google searches for Gavin Newsom down 63% from the August peak. You remember back then it was when he started that social media, right, going after President Trump. There was a lot of interest from Democratic voters. But maybe that interest is waning off just a little bit. And, of course, you don't necessarily want to wane it off just yet because I think we still have a lot of time till the votes are
There is still some time to go.
He always throws a curveball. It's Tamino. Yes, there is still some time to go.
I love the contrast between him and, what is it, John Brennan there? Or John, maybe not Brennan, maybe.
Boring. John Boring.
John Boring.
Exactly.
But everyone's boring next to Enten.
I know.
Yeah,
That guy's
he's a
that guy is a ball of energy. Mm-hmm. How could you not like it?
Like living flare.
Yeah. Compared to the negative Nancys, the black pillars. And here's something I want you guys to watch. We always try and call balls and strikes. For example, I've told you I'm not impressed with Pam Bondi. I don't think she's done a good job. I think the handling of the Epstein binder was awful. I think the messaging has been terrible. I really didn't like when we saw Elon Musk and the administration, and certainly Vivek, echo the idea that we needed unlimited H-1Bs. We spoke out against it. Caught some flack for that from some people. There are plenty of things to dislike. I get that. When I'm talking about, I think when people refer to black pillars, it's important that you look for a couple of things. Is the black pillars put President Trump, and honestly all conservatives, in a no-winning position, where no matter what you do, it's never enough and you cannot win. You've heard the perfect is the enemy of the good. With the black pillars, it's anything other than perfect means you're a fraud. That's very different from legitimate criticism. The other thing is the black pillars don't offer any solutions. They don't offer any solutions other than it's all lost and just don't show up to vote. Or what? Because we know the alternative in reality would have been, in this case, thank God it's not. Imagine living under Kamala Harris right now. We all know the alternative in reality would be as we know it right now, Newsom, AOC, Kamala Harris, God forbid, Whitmer. I still think they may try and trot her out from Michigan. That would be worst case scenario because she is a full-blown communist and I'll just say it, an evil person. So that brings us to this next clip. This is one that people are circulating around. And I think that Andrew Schultz is funny. I think sometimes he's had some opinions that are well thought out. This is not one of them.
Everything he campaigned on, I believe he wanted to do. And now he's doing the exact opposite thing of every single fucking thing.
I don't know what he's done. Yeah, exactly to your point. If you tell me, it's easier for me to believe you wanted to do all these things if any of them were happening in the way that you said they would.
To that point, like there'll be people that like they'll DM me and be like, you see what your boy's doing? You voted for this. I'm like, I voted for none of this. He's doing the exact opposite of everything I voted for.
Really?
I want him to stop the wars. He's funding them. I want him to shrink spending, reduce the budget. He's increasing it. It's like everything that he said he's going to do, except sending immigrants back. And now he's even flip-flopped on that.
Has he flip-flopped on that? By the way, which new war are we funding? Do you mean the continued spending with the Ukrainian war that he inherited, which, by the way, has been scaled back, and he's been actually going to great lengths to try and stop, including applying leverage with NATO, demanding that nations actually start footing the bill for their own defense? Do you mean that? To the point that it's literally changed Canada's entire national security policy? What do you mean? You mean the spending in the one big, beautiful bill? He's flip-flopped on immigration. And here's the thing. It's wrong, and I'll get to why it's wrong. But what are the alternatives? What solutions are being offered? Let's go to immigration. When someone says, he's doing the opposite of everything I voted for. Okay, what I voted for on immigration. Secure border, deportations. You comment below. Is that what you were hoping for? Mm-hmm. Border crossings down 95%. It's not 100%. 95 is pretty good. It's almost the next best number behind 100%. It's 4 or 5 below it, approximately.
It's an A plus.
Yeah.
If you're grading it, it's an A plus.
3 million total deportations in the first year. When you consider that 12 to 20 million illegals under 4 years of Biden, like that's significant. Is it enough? No.
It's a good pace, though. 3 times 4 is 12.
It's a good pace combined with 95% reduction in border crossings. Hey, I think that's better than the alternative, which would have been open borders in perpetuity, because that's what we saw. Let's look at jobs. What were you voting for with jobs? I was voting for prioritizing the American worker, hopefully bringing people back into the workforce because our entire economy got screwed after COVID. Okay, native-born jobs under President Trump, up over 1 million. We've added 1 million. Foreign-born jobs, which skyrocketed under Biden, they're down 550,000. You saw the exact opposite with Biden. Same thing with private sector versus government growth. Under Biden, you saw a huge portion of government jobs go up. Huge number. You saw foreign-born jobs, H-1Bs, go up dramatically, and growth stall or shrink in the private sector. When we look at President Trump, we've added 450,000 jobs in the private sector. Government, minus 324,000 jobs. We've reduced it by that much. I believe it's the lowest since 1960, the amount of government employees. It's not perfect. Certainly a contrast. It is, at the very least, a 180. Here's Biden, Kamala, going this way. It's a 180. Are we at the end point? No, but we are traveling the exact opposite direction. That counts for something. If it doesn't count for enough, then we need to know what the alternative solutions are. Fraud and abuse. What did you vote for with fraud and abuse? To root it out? Try and trim it? Let's look at SNAP. 2.1 million people off of food stamps now because of requirements. Crazy, stringent requirements like ID, checking in every few weeks, and work requirements. Was it 40 hours a month? 80 hours a month.
Yeah.
80 hours a month.
It's a part-time job or charity or school.
Right. 2.1 million people off of food stamps. Let's look at Somali fraud. Investigations by DOJ, FBI, right? Up to $18 billion in Minnesota alone. Not to mention the trimming that we've seen from Doge. Is it enough? No. Is it ideal? No. But we went from expanding to cutting down, trimming. If we continued on the path, we would still be adding hundreds of thousands of government jobs, likely in the IRS to audit you more and take more of your money. Likely Ministry of Disinformation, the Department of Disinformation to censor people more. We certainly know it wouldn't be going to ICE agents. Crime, law and order. That was a major platform of Donald Trump. What were you hoping for as it related to crime? Well, let's look. Violent crime is at its lowest since 1968.
Wow.
Homicide itself is down 21%. That's the lowest since 1900. Across the board. Assault and battery, arson, armed robbery, carjacking. Is it perfect? Is it down to 0%? No, but we saw crime going up consistently, and we could track that with the left's policies of catch and release, of cashless bail, of places, cities that said as long as it's under $999, it's not really considered a crime anymore, it's a misdemeanor. We shifted policy. We reversed course, a 180. It just comes down to how far are we on that path? But we're on that path. And in some cases, we're pretty far along down the trail. Inflation, 2.4%. Compared to Biden, where we were, an average of 5, a peak of 9%.
Jeez.
9.1, average of 5.3%. Gas prices, they're under $3 a gallon, down 40%. From Biden's 2022 high. I don't call that nothing. You guys can say this is cheerleading. I'm just pointing out to you the changes and the degree of success that we've seen. Is it enough? It really comes down to, is it enough? And if it's not enough, do you prefer the alternative? Because that's what you're looking at. And I want you to take that into consideration. You absolutely should hold your representatives accountable. You absolutely should call balls and strikes. But you can only do that if it's based in truth. And if you just blanket tell people, I didn't vote for any of that. I want to know, what was Andrew Schultz voting for then? If not reduction in crime, if not reduction in inflation, if not increases in jobs for American workers, if not a 95% reduction in border crossings, if not the lowest homicide rate since 1900, if not cutting the federal workforce, what? Does he mean cut all spending immediately? I mean, I get some things that I would like to see, but this is kind of what I voted for. Foreign policy. Retaking control of the Western Hemisphere. Stepping up to China. Captured Maduro. No casualties. Evicted China from the Panama Canal. That's a big deal. Tariffs are 20% higher on China than a year ago. Biden was going soft on China after COVID, which came from a wet market, by the way. That's a start. Talk about wars. Well, Donald Trump is condemned if he captures Maduro, right? That's a new war, apparently. It's a new war if, for example, we take out the uranium refining facilities in Iran that were past 60%, the same IAEA agencies, by the way, who said that there were no weapons of mass destruction or nuclear weapons in Iraq, so you can't try and use that one. So we took them out in the middle of the night, and our boys were back over the ocean before anyone woke up. Maduro's own people barely even resisted. Well, which war? So that's considered military intervention. But does Donald Trump get credit for diplomacy? Ending wars with Armenia, Azerbaijan, India, Pakistan, Cambodia, Thailand? There's so many. We've listed those many times before. So he doesn't get, well, that doesn't count. He just made a phone call. But he's a warmonger? If he takes a dictator out with no American casualties? Again, seems to me that the trend is there's no winning for Donald Trump. If he makes a phone call and ends a war, that doesn't count. If he unseats a dictator in a mission that is, frankly, as nonviolent as humanly possible, they act like he's George W. Bush. Okay, then what's the proposed alternative solution? Oh, don't vote. We'd be better off with Kamala Harris? I don't think so. Social policy. This is one that I voted for. 2 genders. Maybe it's because I'm closer to it, but I was the first one to say there are 2 genders, change my mind. You know, to ask people what is a woman, what is a man, what is a male, what is a female. And I was banned on campuses by professors, by the way, and slandered in major newspapers for that stance. Now it's a matter of official government policy. I know you'll say it could be undone, executive order. Sure. But it certainly is better than the alternative. Men out of women's sports, end to all federal DEI programs. DEI is out of the military, which has resulted in all 5 branches seeing a recruiting average of 103% of their stated goal. It's the highest recruitment that we've seen in 15 years, which maybe I'm too close to it. I was telling you guys for years, you know, stretchy maternity suits for surrogate lesbians in the Air Force, that's actually not going to boost morale. I think you want that redneck with dip in his lip who's going to be shooting a deer that weekend anyway, just swap out his hunting rifle.
You want dogs.
For an M4 and the elk with the terrorist. Well, guess what? Turns out they finally heard someone, and now we have Americans who love America joining the military again. Nothing? I didn't vote for any of this, says the Black Pillars. Well, then what did you vote for? I'm very curious. What did someone who voted for Trump who was disappointed, like, you don't have the stomach for deportations? Did you vote for him and think he wouldn't deport anybody?
Right.
Did you vote for him and think he wouldn't slash the federal workforce? Did you vote for him and then you were disappointed when he required, you know, he has work requirements for food stamps, for EBT? Did you vote for him and you're disappointed that he said there are only 2 genders, he's not going to allow men to compete in women's sports? Did you vote for him and you're disappointed that he ended DEI across the federal government? Do you mean disappointment in that he hasn't done enough? Or, and this is what it's hard, because when someone says, I voted for the opposite of this, then I'm going to take you at your word and say, so you wanted men competing in women's sports. You wanted the limitless number of genders. You wanted the illegal border crossings to continue, at least 95% of them. You don't want the deportations, because if you say you voted for the opposite of everything you voted for the cost of eggs to stay up, gas to be $5 a gallon, right? Is that what you mean? Because I can offer some criticism. I can tell you what I think should be done. I'd like to see. I would like to see President Trump do a little bit more with the courts. I mean, you've got 2 judges. You got Thomas, you got Alito. They're both 75, 77, respectively. It'd be good if this president could get them to step down and replace them with equally conservative, younger justices. Frankly, if you could get a hardline Gen Z Christian nationalist in there, that'd be fun. I'd like to see some more, manufacturing jobs here. We just added 5,000, I think, in January. That's the first positive in 13 months. We need to see some more growth. Yeah. As far as energy, I know that gas prices are low, but natural gas prices are really high. And as a result, energy bills are up. Now, there's a good reason for that. It's because we're also exporting a lot of our natural gas. While there's a delay in being able to create the infrastructure, the manufacturing equipment so that we can access more of it. That's a huge component of energy, by the way, that people are ignoring. Like, we need municipal, we need federal solutions, but also residential, individual, personal. There are a lot of people who basically have natural gas that's just seeping, in their yard, and it could be used, it could be harnessed, and it could be far more affordable. It's hard to do because energy policies take a while to reverse, but we are a net energy exporter for one of the first times in American history. I think that happened during his first term. I'd like to see more done with natural gas. I definitely think the messaging has been bad with Epstein and the binder, and I think that Pam Bondi needs to go. There are absolutely some changes that I would like to see. But to say that I voted for the exact opposite of what I'm getting, it's kind of like saying, man, Charlie Kirk was a huge influence on me, and I really want to honor him by attacking his widow.
I thought you were going to say something like have an abortion or
right, exactly.
But no, you went with the fact.
No, that's 100% true. And just for everybody, we know that this video is from last summer of Andrew Schultz.
Yeah, I know. It's just
Black
recirculating.
pillars are recirculating it right now as though all of what he is saying is still true.
Right.
After all of the results that we just went through.
I guess when they say no new wars, you guys let me know, and we'll take your chats, of course. Maybe they mean they're expecting when President Trump he becomes president that there are no threats that exist in the world anymore.
Like, I think they want President Trump to just let the world just do whatever it wants to do.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, they still put boots on the ground in Ukraine and Russia, but also in Gaza.
Yeah.
But other than that,
yeah. Well, that's the left. They want Ukraine. These people, I guess, are saying he hasn't ended the war between Russia and Ukraine. Okay.
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, but has he tried to scale it back? And has he pulled the levers? Has he pulled every lever? That, by the way, let me ask you this: the alternative, Biden. Okay. Neither one has put boots on the ground, but it was going to be a never-ending blank check under Biden and you know Harris, former Vice President Biden, and of course Kamala Harris. All right. Did they go to NATO and say you guys are on your own until you start meeting your 2%? And as a matter of fact, that number needs to be 5% now, and other nations immediately begin meeting it?
No, because Kamala Harris admitted that she hadn't been to Europe.
That's
right.
true. She's very
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The alternative. I mean, it was still. Can anyone argue on like the big issue, the two big issues in this election: immigration, the economy? Can anyone actually argue that they're the same? There's no difference on immigration. On immigration, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. You guys want to argue that, well, you know what? It's just best to rip off the Band-Aid and have Kamala Harris as president because then we wouldn't be disappointed. You realize there would be no nation left, right? You realize that. You would be under the rule of communists for the rest of America's history. It would be a managed decline through communism because they would immediately grant citizenship, voting rights to 12 to 20 million. That number would have been 30 million by the end of this term. I guarantee
maybe 40,
there would be no coming back from it. But you want to chance it in the midterms because 95% isn't as much as 100? What wars are we in? And even then, does that mean that he's the same as everyone else? Like, let's say that Iran gets back to trying to refine their uranium. Does that mean that he's a warmonger?
According to them, absolutely. This really does come down to the Jews. If the Israel-Gaza thing isn't happening right now and the Israel-Iran thing isn't happening, or the Gaza thing was happening, you probably don't hear from these people. Dave Smith, this is when he comes out to talk about this, and he knows a lot about that, so I understand why he has an opinion on it. But outside of this, I don't think the black pillars are talking very much about this at all. They're not there.
I've heard people literally say, Trump promised you a false bill of goods. He hasn't done anything on immigration. He hasn't done anything on the economy or inflation. Grocery bills are up. He hasn't done anything as far as ending foreign conflicts. He hasn't done anything with they just literally list the things where you've seen a 180 as far as direction of this country, and they just say nothing has happened and offer no alternatives. Let me ask you this, just on housing, has enough been done? No, mortgage rates down to about 6%, sorry. That's significant. Hey, anyone else propose banning institutional investors from buying single-family homes?
On that, too, interest rates are down, I think, from Biden, I think maybe like 1%, which is significant. But he has been trying harder. Who's the guy in charge of the Fed, Jerome Powell?
Yeah, I think it's over 2% now, Josh. I think it was in the 8, maybe even closer to 9, and it's down to about 6 right now, so 2 to 3% down.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah,
it's great.
Huge.
But then you say, well, if it's not good enough. Well, there's also the fact that he's been trying and unfortunately failing because it's out of his complete control.
Yeah,
but he's been trying that too.
And let me put this in context. And then I want to play the Little Caesars thing again because it's fun. We're going to go to Rumble Premium Mug Club. By the way, if you are not a member, click that button. It's what allows us to do everything that you see, including investigative journalism, including what I will be doing Monday that I can't tell you about, but I won't be here for a show. But I'm hoping
we will be having a show.
You will be having a show, but I won't be here. But it's going to be real.
But you can't say.
Well, I don't want to oversell it, but it's going to be really cool for me. And if it turns out the way that I hope it turns out, it's going to be really cool. But I'm only able to do it because of your support. $99 a year, hand-etched, wonderful mug. Or try it for $9 a month. Get 100% more show. Okay. Black pillars. The doomsdayers. The negative Nancy saying, whoa, you vote for, what did you get? You got nothing. It's the same on immigration. The economy is the same. And, it's the same, just another side of the same coin as far as foreign policy. What's happened with Epstein? All right. Let's just assume that very little has happened with Epstein. I'll grant you that. We obviously don't know the whole story. I, of course, don't believe that Epstein killed himself, but I also think that people take some of the absence of data and extrapolate and make demands that could not be met.
CNN's talking about it now. This would have never happened without whatever the last year's events.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton testifying in the Epstein probe. So let's say that Epstein is awash. It was handled badly. I'll give you that. I agree. Let's say that Donald Trump has not completely been an isolationist because of Maduro and because of Iran. Okay, all right, I'll grant you that. They say nothing's been done on immigration, on the economy. I go, well, okay, hold on a second, actually. And 95%, I voted for President Strong on immigration, on the economy, and to change the cultural direction of our country. And I was facing another president who believes that children can transition, parents should lose the rights to their children if they don't allow them to transition, abortion all the way up until and including birth, taxpayer-funded period, no voter ID whatsoever, change to the census rule, no deportations, and regulations that led to record high inflation. Okay, that's what I was looking at, and I go, well, nothing? Hold on, we have a 95% reduction in border crossings. We have 3 million deportations. We've actually been adding native-born American jobs for the first time in 4 years, while we're actually cutting down on H-1Bs, and we're actually getting rid of foreign-born jobs, giving those to Americans who are willing to fill those spots. We've seen growth in the private sector. We've seen shrinking in the government sector. We've seen lifetime low crime rates across the country, certainly as it relates to violent crime. We have requirements for entitlement programs. We haven't completely eliminated them, but we have requirements that the Democrats vehemently fought against with SNAP. We have a movement right now where we're likely going to require voter ID, thereby preserving our elections for decades to come. And inflation is at a much more reasonable number. And the price of eggs. And the price of milk. I'm not getting nothing out of that. And certainly not enough disappointment to stay home and not vote. Which direction do you think is better for the country? And what do you think is your duty if you want to preserve a country? This is the question. To black pillars and to people following them. Do you have children? You have a binary choice. Let's say there's 3. Stay home and do nothing. That's a vote for Kamala, Newsom, whoever it is, Democrats in the midterms. Or the direction that we are going now. This has all taken place in 1 year. You say, make America great again? I want my children to grow up in an America that I recognize. Then what is your duty? Is your duty to act on your emotions because you're disappointed, and many of us are, rightfully so? Or is your duty to understand that the perfect is the enemy of the good? And even more importantly, there is a feedback mechanism that only this president and this administration cares about. They listen and adapt. The Democrats, you saw, for 4 years under Biden, 8 years under Obama, what you think, what you need, what your community requires to thrive, what your family unit should look like, they don't care. You were a serf. So what is your duty as an American? To have a pity party or to do something about it? And is doing something about it staying home doing nothing, or simply going back to voting Democrat, as many of these black pillars did for their entire lives until they saw a niche market? YouTube's is something you're not allowed to say according to the guidelines. I was quoting the guidelines. I'm glad you're still here. It means you watched this video all the way through. Oh, it says here that Rumble, where you can go follow my channel, lets you say pretty much anything, provided it's not illegal. That reminds me of, what does it remind me of? Oh, yeah. YouTube, pre-2015. Go on and follow me there. I'm live, 11 a.m. Eastern, weekdays. Don't call YouTube a. Oh, it's just a different way of saying it's.